Alright, I appear to be loaded and just what I always wanted, Java lag. Alright. Let me take a look at this token for the first time.
Yes.
You sure stand out.
Good lord in heaven. What the hell are all these values? So this is what people who don't have enough time on their have too much time on their hands do with map tool.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, we'll go with amazing. Yeah. That would be the word I use. Amazing.
But it seems very convenient, at least.
Convenient would also be the other word I use. Why not? Let me test some of these buttons here.
Sure.
How about this? I'll move myself over here. You can use me as a combat test bunny.
Well, I'll try to think of how to do that. Fascinating. Okay, so I go ahead and we'll give something to go to college try. Okay, I've clicked on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, there's a pop-up box.
Yes.
Make sure when the pop-up box says you then need to select your target, so you can click on me. The pop-up box is for any alterations you need to make. Like
See,
if there's...
I don't think I have combat advantage on you. I don't think there are any additional attack or damage modifiers.
No, usually not.
One creature, two attacks. I don't think so. I'm not charging. I'm not using my offhand weapon. Enter any overall attack modifier. Does it automatically factor in like my intelligence or whatever
Yes.
else?
Yep.
Yes.
That's just if you get a buff, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
For instance, Dark Destiny's character can buff to hit attempts for you guys.
Okay.
And that's where we put that in.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll try that then. And
I'm still awake.
I see.
Yep. But
you're
you're slowed.
How about that?
So
Then
my
there's
speed...
there's a quick reference sheet that just magically popped up. How the hell did that pop up? I didn't do anything to make this pop up.
It does when you use a power that is one use, like one encounter, one daily, that pops up automatically. You can hide it as a tab underneath one of the other windows if you don't like it.
Well,
black is daily, red is encounter, green is at will.
Well, what I will end up doing in this situation then is, since I have to make an attack roll, saving throw, a skill check, or an ability check, and dislike the result, I'll add a memory of 1,000 lifetimes to that, I suppose. And is that going to trigger?
No, sadly, it just basically tells you what it does. But you sadly need to roll the d6 yourself.
It's fine. Figures I made.
One.
Apparently that was one. What's your will?
It's 12.
Yes! 12! What? 11 plus 1 is 12?
Yeah, that's true. So that means the good
You gonna
guy.
edit my state?
Yep. Let's see here. Slow and stunned. You're unconscious.
Why, you look very jello, come.
Initiative minus 5. Isn't that supposed to be like a plus 5?
Yes, that is one of the odd things with your token. I will, when I add you all to initiative for battle, I will sort of give you a boost, so you get to +5.
So I should actually get a plus 10 then, because that would take me to 0 and then the...
Yes.
Right. Is it only my token?
Yeah.
You see, because you fucking made me do a custom art for the son of a bitch, if we just used my original token fix.
It might be, yeah. I don't know what happened. So yeah, the good roller tuck is asleep.
Hooray! Alright, Rogue, go kill him.
Hope to grow.
Yep. I've done a good thing.
Also remembered something. My resistance to acid or cold or whatever.
Ow!
Does that automatically factor in, or do I have to do it manually?
I think I crashed my metals. Oh no, I didn't. Okay.
It might not factor in. You can see if you hover over like the damage roll here that Alvin did, you can see the breakdown for the damage.
Yes, so you could try to do a cold damage attack against my character, see if it factors in or not.
Are my my resistances factored into the token, DM?
Let's see here. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So if you take damage, because damage is automatically applied here, so what you do then is that you will click the healing button.
Okay.
And
I seem to be lacking one of my racial things for some reason.
Oh,
Yeah, my stone's endurance.
stones endurance. Well, I can add you that.
Because I can't see it on my sheet.
Conditions, healing.
How much HP do you have, Griff?
32.
Oh,
You,
can I even kill you in one shot? Yeah, if I get lucky. Natural 20.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't exactly kill him, it just put him unconscious, right?
Yeah, close enough.
That's the same thing, really.
Alright, let's see here.
Also, I don't know if my charisma modifier adds to my attack roll automatically or not. It should, but I'm not really sure.
What did you ask?
My charisma modifier, if it adds to the attack roll, to hit roll.
To hit? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it does, because that is what you use to attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should.
It should. We can certainly find that out. I'm just going to give Griff his racial power here. Let's see here. Import a PC power. Why not?
Griff's character is speechless.
That's what I interpreted it as.
it's like his head just sort of started buzzing. The gods have touched him.
Yes, that's what the gods did. Oh. Oh, damn, I forgot. I didn't fucking make a riding horse token. Son of a bitch.
I might be able to find one in my library here.
Okay. I mean,
Grimith, he didn't draw him himself.
I have many interesting things, but a pony is not one of them.
Thank you. I've got it now.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Horse, you say?
I mean, can always, no, that wouldn't work.
Horsey!
Oh, horsey. Hooray! Now all I need is control of him.
And there we go.
Hooray! Friendship is magic, everyone.
Let's see here. Let's give you all a extended rest.
Yes, please.
Help! Send help!
It's like, oh, you gods, I need a bit of a fixing.
Oh, you. Oh, you over there. You.
Can I get one as well?
Grimith tries to be hooligan, comes across as posh hooligan.
Posh hooligan Grimith. Let's see here. Resting. Yes, of course. There we go. Does he need anything? No. Everything seems to be good.
Yeah. I have one more question. My disheartening strike has a -2 hit debuff to enemies. I don't think that's in the macro.
No, that will not be applied automatically, and curse you for that. But you will basically need to tell me
Okay.
when you use that. It's disheartening strike.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try to remember.
You can mark them with a little mark, so that'll help you remember.
Yeah, I know. I know. God damn it. All
God
right.
damn it, work.
No.
Hate work.
Exactly.
It is
a Won't
world of darkness and chaos. Soloro's horse is fucking magnificent compared to Alvin over there.
Delightful. All right. Let's get rolling, I guess.
Alright.
All right. So you are on the road towards this.
Is Dark Destiny Soul back yet?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
is it
wondering
gone?
that too.
I was.
And of course, just before dark, is there anything you want to say first off?
Nope, it's fine.
Cool.
All right, we just dive right into it. Grimith, we're recording it.
I thought you said that you needed everyone's approval before,
Since you didn't say anything, I was like, oh, Grimith didn't say anything. That means he loves the idea.
Oh, okay.
Grimith loves everyone and everything by default.
Yeah, that's how I come to understand it.
Really,
No,
you
let's
know,
see this.
I've lived with myself for the past 25 years, and I must tell you, that is a pretty interesting interpretation of things.
No, seriously though, Grimith, if you prefer we don't, we won't.
I'm fine.
All right. Delightful. All right,
Give me a
let's.
Just give me a second to make sure it's starting properly.
Uh-huh.
Close.
It's time for Griff's.
Carefully massage it and add the proper prayer oils.
Yeah.
Recite
Make
the...
sure
Prayer
ritual,
oils?
Intone the correct prayers.
the rituals to calm the machine's spirit.
Exactly.
Of course.
Turn to page 3092 and begin reading.
Any general questions while we wait for the green light here? Anything you want to bring?
Green light.
For? All right. Well, that was fast.
Like,
I've been preparing for the last half an hour. That was almost done.
All right then.
All right. So, yeah, this is the summer of fun, and we are. Yes, we are starting out here for the first session. The party is on the road, the Lost Coast Road, going through, or between rather, Raven Roost and the coast towards the sleepy town of Sandpoint. For 5 years, the faithful of Sandpoint have attended a church in temporary structures erected after a fire destroyed the previous temple in an event that is called locally the Late Unpleasantness. And while their new religious leader was helpful, kind and wise, the church wasn't really the same. Now, the new cathedral is finally about to be done. All that remains is for the Swallowtail Festival to renew the sign's blessing from the gods, and it will be as if the Sandpoint fire never occurred. To celebrate this, a large amount of people has been gathering in Sandpoint from all around the Sandpoint hinterlands. Many of these people are most likely farmers, local hunters, or the like, drawn to Sandpoint for a bit of festivities. Sandpoint is a small and sleepy town. It lies on the Lost Coast. It is one of the few, actually, a bit larger towns on the coastal line northwards, and many people actually stay here for a couple of days when they travel either north or south along the coast. Sandpoint is an old town. It has been. The building of Sandpoint started several generations ago, and there are still actually a lot of unexplored areas around, mainly Devil's Platter, a plateau close to Sandpoint. There are rumors that on Devil's Platter a lot of sort of unsavory creatures lurk, but most of them, they don't really seem to trouble Sandpoint that much. Sandpoint has a fair bit of trade. You can find most of your sort of adventuring needs being met in Sandpoint. There are taverns, there are inns if you want to stay a bit longer, usually good food, and the community is largely friendly towards outsiders. And as I said, it is towards this sleepy town with its grand festival that the party is currently traveling. And I think I will leave this over to the party leader to introduce the sort of overarching story behind the gathering of adventures, and then each player can go and describe their characters. Both sort of what would a person see, what would a person sort of pick up for your character after a few moments in conversation, that kind of thing. So, Dark Destiny Soul playing Erevan Nodalis. You get to go first.
Fun. I am Erevan Nodalis. I am the leader of the party. I am an Eldarin warlord, tactician, of one of the survivors of the Spiral Tower when it was destroyed. After hearing news of my old commander's death, I went to Windsong Abbey looking for people to join me on hunting, research, and just finding a bit of work. My character is about 5'7", carries a long sword with him and his chainmail armor, and is generally not that unremarkable compared to a lot of the old commanders he used to look up to. When he went to Windsong Abbey, searching for people to find, and looking around for anyone of particular interest, he stumbled into, well, majority of the group here, such as, for example, Roldar. Griff, do you want to describe yourself?
Roldar is a very imposing Goliath. His height is 7'7", well over 2 meters tall. His weight, 350 pounds. That's roughly almost 160 kilos. Now, as a Goliath, he is a very broad figure. He prides himself in his strength, and as such, he is incredibly muscle-bound. Even though he's quite tall, he is quite broad. His head is totally bereft of all hair. He is bald. But there is interesting birthmarkings across his head. It looks like an intricate tattoo, but upon closer inspection, it's actually birthmarks. And it is unique to him. He holds himself quite as a stoic individual. He holds himself quite proud. He makes sure he stands at his full height as often as possible. He wields his armor and weapons as often as possible, of which is a warhammer and shield. And when he talks
in a bit of a rough voice, speaking a bit dwarvish.
as he speaks Dwarvish. He was raised up by dwarfs as his clan had been pushed into the mountains by giants who had been enslaving his people. The dwarves offered asylum, and for quite a few generations has his clan toiled and worked alongside the dwarves. However, Roldar feels he wants more from life than scouring unmapped caverns and caves and mining for minerals. He wants to revoke and bring back the honor of his tribe. And as such, that is where he feels he must do it. He must become stronger to deal with the giants that have plagued his ancestral homes. And that brings to why he is with the party. Interesting thing is, he doesn't like purple. He's also very proud of the body. Anyone that imbibes alcohol around him gets a little bit of a scowl from a bleeping thing beside me. Gets a scowl from Roldar. And that is Roldar, the imposing Goliath that does not try to come off as intimidating.
Shall I go next then?
Go ahead.
Okay. Elvin is about 3 feet 7 tall and weighs about 70 pounds, so he's almost like a human child if it wasn't for his thin face and his pointy ears, which are distinguishingly gnomish. His hair is about medium length and tend to cover his ears, which is more or less intentional, so he can get away with looking like a human child when he needs to. He is usually quite playful and curious, and while walking on the road, he looks quite funny because his backpack is quite large compared to his height, and his even larger crossbow is strapped on it. He is very different in combat, however. He tends to be very focused, efficient. He doesn't talk much in combat, and he definitely doesn't joke around. He grew up as an orphan in a small city, which explains why he very much likes to stay hidden and out of sight. He then joined the military and quickly proved his skills with his crossbow as well as his keen eye, and he was an excellent scout. But after he left the military, he looked for something better in his life, some sort of purpose, which eventually led to meeting this party. And now he travels around, still looking for his purpose, but being a little bit happier about his current situation. And that should be a good description.
Someone dropped?
That would have been me.
Oh, hello, Griff.
Close to the time when Erevan was going to leave, he ran into a very unusual figure riding a horse.
Nay. The horse is the most powerful adventurer here. I was thinking about preparing a background and description for the horse and talking about how Heinrich had come to save the world from me. That's what we'll call him, Heinrich.
Heinrich the horse, okay.
Heinrich the horse.
So, Soloro appears as a towering, slender humanoid with midnight black hair and storm gray eyes. He is almost always covered with a drab brown traveler's robe, complete with hood and cloak, and he even has a brown veil as well as gloves to go along with the ensemble. Consequently, it's only the area around his eyes that is regularly exposed, although he will remove the veil and thus expose his face for important situations. He is clean-shaven. The only way that any of his companions would know the color of his hair is that every now and then a tendril will escape into vision by his eyes. Soft-spoken and well-kept. Polite, yet aloof, fierce but reserved. He doesn't like to talk, and he keeps to himself. He tends to be a man of action, but his three main actions look like they're praying, studying, and writing. To add to what's already a curious presentation is a faint, somber cello that can be heard while standing close to him. It's too faint to be distinguishable as some sort of fanciful piece of music, only that it sounds sad. And a whiff of cinnamon always follows him. Statistics-wise, you're looking at the second tallest character in the group. Comes at the Roldar's shoulders, but he lacks serious weight, so his frame seems quite angular, even gaunt beneath all the cloth he wears. Now, during his short time afterwards as he's traveled with the group, his fellow companions would have noticed that, well, he's eccentric and that he casts magic, and magic and eccentricity go hand in hand, so there you go. Soloro likes to speak more with his hands, it seems, by creating interesting effects. As it turns out, many of those effects end up being purple, which matches the color of his handheld orb he pulls out from time to time. A deep, roiling, stormy, royal, pulsing purple. Soloro is a proud individual, and religion is a clear and obvious part of his life. Though some of his prayers he intones may not be decipherable, the reverence behind his words cannot be mistaken. His aloof attitude may come across as condescending. In particular, he outwardly comes across as amused by Roldar. Nevertheless, he seems friendly enough.
Okay, the party has been on the road for a couple of days, but slowly and surely you are approaching Sandpoint. You have met a few travelers on the road as yourselves, going basically to the same place as you are. Do you do anything special while traveling to Sandpoint?
I would like to ask, what's his name? Saloro, if I can ride on his horse. Because I'm very small and I don't like walking.
Soloro will contemplate this, and he will ask why the gentleman in question did not bring a horse of his own.
Well, you see, horses are expensive. And horses aren't exactly a good implement when you want to hide. I can't just leave my horse outside of a city when I go inside and explore. It would get stolen. I know that from experience. So maybe you could let me use your horse for a little bit, or at least get on your horse with you. I'm not very big, so I won't be much of a bother.
Soloro contemplates this, and he will allow your character to ride along with him. Soloro, being familiar with this rather hilly terrain, doesn't exactly want to hoof it himself.
Alvin will be very grateful.
You know, there's seats for 2 more. This horse is massive.
I think the horse would struggle if Roldar got on.
Heinrich looks at Roldar and looks at Soloro and goes, "Fuck you."
4 people on 1 horse. Yeah, that's poor
This
horse.
is why Heinrich's not a regular horse. He's an adventuring horse.
Oh, I see.
You know, he's a hero. He has a heroic path. He's planning on he's got a paragon destiny.
It's epic destiny is to become the best horse in the world.
Look at my horse. Roldar, during the times, actually keeps some form of distance from Soloro, as when he's around Soloro, specifically when Soloro does certain things, it's noticeable Roldar gets a bit dizzy and lightheaded, and so tries to keep a bit of distance from the very magical person who he's convinced was a Goliath, but not sure. He's a bit dazed by the entire experience.
There's probably one time where Soloro is showing off, and there might be a few children around, and he creates like basically like a series of like medieval fireworks, and it's predominantly purple, so you have bursts and showers and sparks of light echoing in the sky, with waves of Soloro's hand.
Roldar during this time would probably just close his eyes and hope the bad things go away. He has no ill feelings towards Soloro. He realizes it is a petty thing, but it does make him very uncomfortable.
It is also possible that the non-Roldar characters in the group will notice that as Soloro has traveled, more and more of the things that Soloro does seems to incorporate the color purple.
Erebin will remain mostly quiet, just walking along, answering any questions if anyone has any, and just having a long walk.
All right. Well, at the sort of you camp along the road during the day here, and you set out early in the morning. You approach Sandpoint actually early morning. Sorry. Basically coming into town around what would be considered like 9 o'clock or something like that in the morning. I will move you like so.
Solaro, is this more of your magic?
Turns out Heinrich is a teleporting horse.
Yes.
Well, Alvin, congratulations. You are on board the only teleporting horse in the world.
It's super magical. Yes, the town of Sandpoint does indeed seem to be quite a well-established town when you get close to it. There is a small sign outside the town. It's handmade, clearly. It says "Welcome to Sandpoint," and beneath it hangs a little piece of mirror, actually. And beneath it, someone has scrawled, "Please take a moment to stop and see yourself as we see you," beneath the mirror.
Soloro leans over while he's on Heinrich, looks at the horse, sees the drab brown that's covering almost all of his body, stares at his storm gray eyes, questions the significance of this, leans back up on his horse.
Alvin will actually jump down and inspect the mirror a little bit further, just looking at his reflection as well as the mirror itself. What does it look like? Is it just a mirror shard or an actual mirror?
It seems to be a shard. Perhaps a larger mirror sometime in the past broke, and this is a piece of it. It looks jagged, but like the sharpness of it is probably filed down. It seems the edges are quite smooth when Alvin takes a closer look.
Okay.
Now, Soloro has been the Sandpoint before. Has this mirror been here, like, over the past year?
Yes. This mirror seems to be somewhat of a staple outside. Sometimes someone like steals it or it goes missing, but somehow people seem to just find another piece and put it there.
Rodar will look in the mirror, bend down and look in the mirror, look at himself for a few moments, find out he's got a bit of dirt on him, wipes it off, and then stands back up.
Does Soloro know the history behind the mirror? Any sort of significant attachment to it?
So Saloro might have asked out of curiosity before, but it seems like no one actually knows who started like the tradition of the mirror. It's a part of the local folklore. No one actually knows exactly who puts up a new piece when it goes missing. It's kept like a small secret of the town. Someone had speculated that it's a joke for travelers. Other has said that it has some sort of deeper philosophical meaning. The original intention of it is unclear.
Soloro gestures with a gloved hand down to the mirror. The denizens of Sandpoint have intended this some time ago, perhaps as a joke for visiting adventurers, or perhaps as some sort of deep philosophical inflection. To my understanding, none of them are actually sure themselves. Someone, perhaps drunk, thought it'd be a great idea one night.
Elvin will just say, well, if it's a joke, it's not very funny, is it?
Soloro shrugs on top of Heinrich. Heinrich neighs.
Erevin will just peer into the mirror. Watches his eyes turn to an extravagant blue for a split second.
While the party is inspecting the mirror and talking amongst themselves about its intent and purpose, they see a house close by. The door flings open, and out comes a woman. She seems to be carrying a lot of like loaves of bread. She has a huge sort of basket on her head, and in her arms it's filled with different loaves of bread. And she seems to be quite heavily loaded with this. As she backs out of the door and sort of slowly moves backwards out in the street, looking behind her into her house. She seems to be struggling a bit.
Noticing of how much trouble this lady's having, Erevin will step towards him and say, "Hello, miss. Do you need some help with that?"